there's obviously a ton of rumors surrounding WWE and TNA. Maybe they work together, maybe a pay-per-view together, whatever it may be. They're just rumors. But I thought it would be kind of fun to fantasy book a pay-per-view card between both companies. But there's a couple rules. In this video, all of the WWE talent that you see announced on the card are either in NXT or came from NXT. Don't expect John Cena's and Randy Orton's and Roman Reigns and stuff like that. That's not realistic. I want to make this realistic. Also, this is only down to 5 matches. Why? Because 5 matches feels like an NXT takeover. I think these are 5 quality matches. Some big names, maybe some names that you might not recognize. But the point of this is to put on a great card that would be entertaining. And then, of course, the main event is, it's definitely going to be noted which one the main event is. But the main event is champion versus champion. So we'll get to that in just a moment. The first match that I have on this list is Speedball Mike Bailey versus Dragon Lee. Now, obviously, I'm a huge fan of Dragon Lee, and I'm a huge fan of Speedball Mike Bailey. Coincidentally, a lot of people don't know that Speedball Mike Bailey at one point was even rumored to come to WWE NXT years ago, but unfortunately, that wasn't able to be made happen. There was some issues that prevented that from happening. But Speedball Mike Bailey is my guy that I look at in TNA. Probably one of the best wrestlers in wrestling. But just in general, every match that he's a part of in TNA is an exciting one. And obviously the same could be said for Dragon Lee. I think from a style mashup, both guys would be absolutely incredible. But also this would be like your match that I think sets the standard for a WWE versus TNA event, right? Because part of this event, you got to remember there's not going to be massive storylines going into it if this was a realistic thing. So being realistic, I'm looking at entertainment value. Both guys would be able to get in a lot of spots. I think also at the same time, this is one of those matches where I don't know how you pick a winner, but I think it doesn't really matter who loses this match because no matter what, both guys would technically look like winners. So definitely one of those matches I would love to see. Definitely one of those matches I think should be on everybody's list for a potential dream match between the two companies. The second match on the card would be Motor City Machine Guns versus DIY versus the Rascals versus Creed Brothers. Yeah, a fatal 4-way tag team match has to be on this card. And this is going to be one of those matches where you're just throwing 4 amazing tag teams together. This one's actually a lot harder to book as well because you could throw Chris Bay and Ace Austin in this match as well. You could throw plenty of other WWE tag teams in here as well. But based on what I've seen from DIY, based on what I've seen with Creed Brothers, I feel like both of them would do a really good job of representing WWE. Obviously, both came from NXT as well. And both are really good tag teams. And obviously with TNA, it's a lot easier to pick Motor City Machine Guns and the Rascals because those are 2 of the best tag teams in the company. Obviously, again, you could substitute one with ABC, but I think this is a match that would be very realistic of happening. And this would be a really fun match to watch. It would be very difficult to also choose a winner for this match, so I feel like at this point, if you were WWE and TNA, you're probably looking at Motor City Machine Guns or DIY picking up the win. But this is going to be one of those fatal 4-way matches just filled with great quality wrestling, a lot of great tag spots, and you know, I think for those who don't know who the Rascals are, or maybe those who don't pay attention to the Creed Brothers, like, this is a nice little style mashup for everybody involved. It's just one of those things I think that would be really, really fun to watch. And of course, you know, with WWE, you gotta have so many different tag teams, but you gotta find one that complements the other styles. This is one of those matches where I think it could be done. The third match that I have is Rich Swan versus Axiom versus Nathan Frasier versus Kevin Knight. Yeah, this is like a no-brainer, in my opinion. Rich Swan, Axiom, Nathan Frasier, Kevin Knight, all 4 gentlemen have really good movesets, but I think this is just one of those matches where it's a fatal 4-way. Everybody for themselves, everybody gets to do their moves, everybody gets to go and have a good time. Rich Swan, you know, if you're not watching TNA, Rich Swan is obviously a very good talent, but also the thing about Rich Swan is he's very good with the character stuff too. So I feel like you're going to have a lot of excitement from the crowd just in general by watching this match. And again, you got to be realistic, right? Like, there's plenty of other people that can go into a fatal 4-way match like this. WWE has no shortage of cruiserweights in their company. But Axiom and Nathan Frazier are the guys that I look at consistently in NXT where they're just constantly having bangers. And Kevin Knight, he is somebody who I feel like should be on everybody's radar, based on what we've seen with him in New Japan Strong, and then, of course, TNA, Impact Wrestling. There's just a lot of good that could come from this match. And to me, this is kind of like just another great match that you're going to see on the card, right? It's not, all of these matches are supposed to entertain the fans. It's not so much about name value and whatnot. But this is one of those things where I think everybody will be able to get their spots in. Everybody would look good. And then the best part, in my opinion, is the fact that any one of these men can win and nobody looks weak. It's very similar to the Speedball, Mike Bailey, and Dragon Lee thing. Like, the idea of being realistic here is one promotion will have to win, one promotion will have to lose. And if you're just letting people wrestle and do their thing, I think there's a lot of good that could come from it. And for anybody involved in this match, I think I definitely see a lot of click-worthy clips going on social media if this match were to happen. And if you're not familiar with Kevin Knight, definitely do so, because this guy, I cannot imagine what we would see with him and Axiom and Nathan Frazier and Rich Swann together. I think we would see some very good stuff. We would be very much spoiled. Our co-main event, this one's actually awesome in my opinion. Josh Alexander versus Chad Gable. Yeah, that's right. This would be the co-main event for the card. Josh Alexander, incredible talent. Chad Gable, incredible talent. Both guys are phenomenal talents, and I would love to see them mix it up. I don't know if there's any history of them wrestling in the past on the indies or anything like that. I don't think that's realistic. I haven't checked, but I don't think they've ever crossed paths. And obviously, there's a lot of people that you could see wrestling Josh Alexander from WWE. Chad Gable, obviously, been spending a little bit of time in NXT right now as it is, but he's also on the main roster. This is a way to help elevate the event a little bit for WWE to have a more known star on the card. And also just the Styles Clash itself would be really incredible. Both guys often get compared to Kurt Angle. It's just, this one is one of those things where it's like, it has to happen at one point. It's realistic, and it could happen. And I would say this is a main event level match, but the main event for this card would actually be champion versus champion, female versus female, Trinity Fatu versus Io Sky. SmackDown WWE Women's Champion, and then Trinity Fatu, the Impact KO Champion. From a wrestling standpoint, I think this would be amazing, but also for WWE to have, well, Trinity obviously worked in WWE, but for WWE to have Io Sky on this card, she's from NXT, also on the main roster. She is a champion. I feel like she's a very credible name. And the beauty of this is Trinity Fatu came from WWE. Trinity Fatu is a champion in TNA. I feel like if we're being realistic, WWE would approve this match being the main event. But that's the point of fantasy booking, and that's the point of just kind of having fun with these types of videos. I think this is very realistic, and Io Sky and Trinity Fatu would be a banger, so I really can't imagine why this wouldn't happen. But those are 5 matches that I think are possible, man. And I think, like, WWE and TNA, if they ever do it, this is one of those cards, like, it's easy. WWE doesn't have to really worry about putting John Cena's or Randy Orton's or Roman Reigns, and TNA gets to collab with WWE, so, like, I think it's fun, man. I think it's fun. It would be really cool if something like this happened. Trinity Fatu versus Io Sky is a banger of a main event, and I feel like Io Sky would do a great job representing WWE. Trinity would do a good job representing TNA. Champion versus champion. It feels like a big deal. It's awesome stuff. And I feel like both companies would actually look really good here. So let me know what you guys think down below.